the wrong thing. Sorry, Matt.
That's okay.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
How are you?
Good.
Good. Good to see you guys. How's the past week been?
Mine's been pretty good.
Yeah? You got a cool pedicure? That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be going back to that, by the way.
Yeah? Cool. What's up, Yella?
Dude, he's got the hair out. That's awesome.
What's
The
going
lion's mane. What's up, Dave? Hey, John. How are you? Jared, what's going on? So we'll kind of let people filter in for just a minute, and then we'll kind of jump into this. So
on? All right.
Where are you at, Austin?
I'm in Denver
No.
for a training. Till Sunday night, I think. Yes, Sunday night. So
What time does it end? You know?
I think it's at 8. So yeah. See, there's Jason. Kelly, what have you been up to? It's working?
Yeah, just work.
You have a lot of catch up, I guess, from Rise Week,
Yep.
or yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Me too.
I'm sure. But it's been good. I like working.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. Dave, how are you?
Should we tell him he's muted?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. You had some
Good.
good dates this past week, man.
Yeah, I was on for 2 seconds and my son called me, so I had to jump off. So
Funny.
he's in
So-
Oklahoma, so I don't know. It's been good so far. Can't
Oh,
complain.
really? That's
Yeah.
awesome. Man, my brother-in-law is in Pennsylvania, or yeah, Philadelphia, and they had a bad storm, and literally the wall of their house like fell down, and so they told them they can't be there anymore. It was an exterior wall, and so the whole building they evacuated, and they have like literally nothing, like none of their stuff, and they can't go back in. And Philadelphia is such a mess that they said, we don't know that we'll be able to fix this till the end of summer, and you can't go back in. And
My God.
so they had to like sleep in someone's basement that they didn't know temporarily, and it's just like there's some crazy stuff happening, you know.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. So Marty, how are you? Tony? So I'm gonna
So good, brother.
Yeah. I noticed you're real Robin Hood. What are you up to, man?
Trying to spin looting on its head, bro.
Just give it away?
Yeah, just giving it away. Just like I put out posts and just have people answer, and I just take them money. So, but I mean, I'm not like independent wealthy or anything. I do have some independent wealthy friends who support me. So that's kind of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm just gonna kind of jump in. So I have some of those questions left over from Rise Week. Hey JJ, how are you? But first, I want to talk about. So I don't even know that I use this language at Rise Week, but over the next several weeks, I'm going to start to outline and dive a little deeper into some different topics. And today I want to cover what I call Captivate. Captivate my companion. And so a lot of you know that I really like John Eldredge and his book Wild at Heart and several of his books. He also wrote a book with his wife called Captivated or Captivating. I can't remember the exact title of it. But in that book, he says that all women want to feel that they are captivating. I hear this from a lot of women, this idea of I want to be seen. I want to know that There's something about me that's exciting, that's interesting, that is of value. And so this idea of captivating your companion, the way that I try to do this is in my morning routine. I try to like just kind of meditate and think about my wife, even just for a couple minutes. Like, what do I like about her? What do I appreciate about her? What does she need? How can I come through better? And just in taking those few minutes to think about her, it sets the tone for how I interact with her. So this isn't perfect, but when I'm on my game, I typically have about 2 hours to myself in the morning where I'm able to kind of get my head right, exercise, meditate, journal, whatever, before I engage with my family. And so I take that time to think of how do I want to show up with them, right? When I show up for, breakfast, or we do a little morning prayer and things. And oftentimes it's something little before I go to work. It's expressing love intentionally. It's just taking the time to ask about her day or to show interest. But I want to invite you guys in this week to take, literally, it can be a few minutes just to intentionally think of how am I going to engage with my wife? How am I going to express to her my care? And notice that intentional interaction will probably go much further than when we're just going through the motions. And so in this idea of captivating, the way that I kind of set it up is I like to just take a few minutes to do something loving at some point. I've done different things where I've taken like a sticky note I've literally done this for 6 months at a time, where every day I'm writing something that I appreciate or something I love about her, making a special, attempt to help out, with the dishes or to do something that she's asked me to do. I think the point isn't so much what is done as much as this idea of engaging with her well-being. So at Rise, I talk about this idea of core attachment needs. Core attachment needs is my partner accessible? Are they responsive to my needs? And are they engaged in my well-being? So the way that I look at this, it's like, I'm here and my partner's over there, and are they available? Like, can I reach them, right? Are you accessible? Okay. And if so, then I go, oh, you're available, you're accessible. I have a need or something I'd like. Will you respond to me? Right? If I ask, will you respond? And then the third one is one of the ones that is most powerful, because the idea is I'm here, you're over there, and you're taking special interest in me without me having to ask. So at Rise Week, we talk of this idea of being curious. I mentioned the most recent Rise Week that I spent a lot of time with women, with partners, and I simply ask what they would like. I open the door for them to start thinking about what's important to them, and so often they can come up with it. And so this idea of captivating your companion, it's this proactive approach to loving her, not waiting for her to ask. Obviously, you do want to respond if she asks you for something that's important to her. So just real quick, I want to just kind of put it out there to you guys. Has anybody been intentional since Rise Week, and what do they notice when they do that, when they're engaged, when they're trying to captivate her intentionally? You're gonna have to unmute if you have a thought.
I'll go. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
With this week, my wife was just kind of wondering what was going on, because in the past, when I first started my recovery journey, I said a lot of things, and she was just wondering what was going to be different this time, and just trying to be more intentional, thinking about how I'm going to interact with her each day. Finally, just the other day, we were sitting in the car, and she's just asking me. She usually has to tell me who I'm supposed to call, And she's finally just like, did you call this person, this person, this person, this person? I'm like, oh yeah, I called them all, talked to them all. We're all good. And she was just kind of surprised, and she's just wondering what was different. And when we were dating, I would always used to go to her leg and just put I heart you dot. And that all that meant was just I love you, period, and that's it. I will always love you. But when I first started my recovery journey, I didn't feel good enough to do that. So it literally has been 4 years since I have done that. And I turned to her and I did that on her leg, and when was the last time that I did that? And she's like, honestly, I don't remember. And I just apologized. I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry that I lost sight of what was really important to me.
Right.
And then that's just every day, like Austin said, we have to be intentional about what we are going to do for her each day.
Cool. Thanks, Shella. Anybody else?
Yeah, I know for me, in the past, my wife and I kind of lived separate lives together, where I just would do the work, she would stay at home and do stuff with the kids, and we were kind of like disconnected in that way. And my wife likes to feel needed, and I grew up not needing anybody. And so I've been asking her to do things for me, to help me with work or whatever, and she loves it. Like, she loves helping me do my stuff. It makes her feel better, make me feel better. And I know it's kind of backwards because I'm asking her to do something for me, but she actually wants to feel needed. And she totally appreciated that. So it's like it's a total win-win. If I can remember to keep that intentionality and ask for what I want, she's more than willing to be there. And that's helped a lot for sure.
Right. I think that's a really important point. I hear that all the time when I meet with women. They'll say things like, all he wants me for is for sex. I mean, that's a very common thing that I hear. And I also hear this idea of like one of their needs is to be needed. Women are very nurturing by nature. They're very thoughtful oftentimes. And us men were like, oh, I got it, right? We've been trained to just, oh, we don't need anyone. So a lot of times women will say things like that, like, I want to be needed. I want to be able to come through. I like that, Tony. That's right. Letting her in to be a part of helping you on your path. Cool. Any other thoughts with this, guys?
Yeah, I got something. It's kind of crazy. Like, sorry, you guys made me cry. I'm kind of associated with you. So, in good ways. Me and my mom. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I do actually sometimes, because she is good. My mom's always good to me. My wife's always good. Anyway, when me and my wife adopted this second round of kids, we did some foster care, and we said, hey, just so you know, we're pretty independent people. Like, we go and we do our stuff, and we come back together, we rally at home, and then go out and do more. And it's true, and it was good, and that's okay, actually. But I literally got thinking about it the last couple of days, and I was like, if we were resubmitting that paperwork, which, we're not, we're pretty happy with where we're at. I mean, I guess things get inspired, but if we were 2 years ago now and applying to foster and to adopt these kids, I don't know if we'd say that anymore. And what I noticed is when you're living with more intention for your spouse, they automatically, and they already have, but like even to a deeper level, they automatically start living more intentionally for you. And yeah, man, like it's pretty crazy. Like, we've had some pretty breakthrough moments already, which is crazy.
Cool. That's awesome.
It's been good, It's been good.
That's
But yeah,
good.
it's been good.
That's awesome. So it's interesting because one of my challenges, to be honest with you, is, a lot of days I'll spend 6, sometimes 10 hours talking to people. And one of my wife's biggest needs is to be heard, right? And so I'll come home and I'll have spent all day with people, come home, hang out with the kids, we eat dinner as a family, whatever. And then it's 8:30 or 9 and she wants to talk. And I have to be very intentional of like, I still have something left for you. I can still pay attention and be interested, not just like really looking at ESPN while she's over here. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I've failed at that in the past at times. But I've learned like she's more important. And so a lot of times she'll come over and I'll just shut the computer and I'll turn towards her and just like engage and just listen. And so I want you guys to think this week, really every day, kind of this challenge of how can I be very intentional at trying to captivate her. For me, that term captivate, it's almost like sweeping her off her feet a little bit. And so I recognize I said the need for women is to feel captivating. I also want you to captivate her attention, her interest. I think when we're doing this intentionally, that what we captivate is her interest in feeling that there's something between us, some connection there. Okay. So I'm gonna over the next few weeks kind of build into this idea of what I'm gonna call the Rise way of life, Rise life. Okay, and obviously you guys can choose the behaviors in this, but kind of a balanced approach to how do I live in a way that allows the different areas of life to get attention regularly. How many of you feel like you've neglected areas of your life for long periods of time? And so part of what I want to do is kind of this little dose of like, hey, remember this? What are we going to do to shift this area? The other thing with our relationships, and we hear this all the time, probably so much that people tune it out, but realistically, like planning out a date night, like for me, my relationship is meant to be a source of enjoyment, and source of fun. And so planning out a regular date night, and it doesn't matter if you go out. Oftentimes, like especially with the COVID stuff, like we haven't been able to go out, but we have a night where it's definitely set aside, like we're gonna engage and spend time. And to be honest, we do that a lot of nights, but where it's this intentional, like we're gonna go have some fun, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna like try to have an experience where we feel close, I think is really valuable. A lot of people take that idea of date night for granted. It's like, oh, we've been married all this time. We don't need that level of time together. And it's like, well, why be in a relationship if you're not gonna be in a relationship, right? Any thoughts or questions on this? Just this little simple idea of captivate.
I do have one,
Yeah,
Austin.
what's up?
So Jason and I went on a hike today, and we were just talking about this exact same thing about really setting a date aside for your wife and you to go out on a date and really spend time together to really connect. Because I feel like well, I'm just now learning. I will be learning. Having kids, they're not a distraction, but they're another family member that you have to take care of, and you don't get to spend time with just your wife, your lioness. So really spending time together with your wife, once a week or something is what we're shooting for. So
That's awesome. Yeah, something came to mind. I read this in a book that was actually, I think, written in the 70s. And the guy, it's called His Needs, Her Needs. And the guy talks about 10 different emotional needs in a relationship. And I'm going to focus on 4 for a minute, because these are the primary ways we spend time together. He says there should be a focus on being affectionate, right? Like an intentional show of love, whether that's physical touch, that's through verbal, that's through, this can be the 5 love languagey type of thing, right? But being intentional at showing and expressing love is the idea of affection. And then he says meaningful conversation. He says most people, when they fall in love, they're having enlightened conversations. They're excited to engage, they're sharing ideas, they're sharing the future, they're comforting each other. And so it's not just like business conversation, but it's like enjoyable, meaningful conversation. And it's so funny because all the time women will be like, yeah, we used to talk on the phone for hours, and now like I say, hey, how are you? And he's like, right, totally like not wanting to have a conversation. And so making room for affection, meaningful conversation. Then he calls it recreational companionship. He's like, we're going out and we're recreating. We're doing some enjoyable activity together. And a lot of couples fall into this space where it's like, I have my interests, you have your interests, and we don't really do them together. We watch different shows, we do different activities in the evening, and it's like we're living together, but we're not doing life together, right? And so this date night idea, at least having one time a week where you're just doing something enjoyable, something fun together. It could be playing a game, it could be doing a puzzle, it could be going, somewhere new, restaurant or fun activity or whatever, right? And there's tons of ways we can get creative about this. And then the fourth one he talks about is sexual fulfillment. So he doesn't say having sex, he says fulfillment, meaning both parties leave the experience feeling fulfilled. So I don't know, some of you know this, a lot of you don't. I am a trained sex therapist. And in that training, one of the things that we talk a lot about is the emotional aspect of intimacy. And so many people focus on the physical, and this idea of a fulfilling experience isn't that we had an orgasm. It isn't that it was this fun physical experience. It was that we both left feeling more loved by the other, where sexuality is an expression of love. And so there's some other needs that I'll talk about in a minute, but those are kind of the four that he actually suggests to couples when they're in a struggling spot. He's like, I want you to take 15 hours a week in these ways of spending time together. Like it's hard to have a relationship if you're not together. Some of the other needs are openness and honesty, physical attraction, admiration, and then he talks of this idea of financial, like providing financially, helping out with the kids, like he calls it family commitment. And what was the other one? Finances, kids. It'll come to me in a minute. And household stuff, right? And so just having a discussion with your wife, and we talk about this at Rise Week, like this idea of curiosity. Hey, what can I do that is meaningful for you, that helps you feel loved? And I think having that open dialogue of, hey, where are you, is really valuable, okay? So we've implemented a while back, sometimes it's Saturday, sometimes it's Sunday, but just kind of like, hey, how are you? What are you needing this week? What's coming up? Getting on the same page. And I know that in my marriage, that goes a long way, where I'm interested in her week. I let her into my week, okay? So you guys can think about how to do that. But really this focus over the next week, and realistically forever, how do I captivate my companion? Okay, this same principle, I call it care for my cubs. Okay, it's the same thing with my kids. So how do I express love every day? And for me with my kids, it's important for me to get on their level, look them in the eyes, and let them feel that dad loves them. So I mentioned that I'm on the trampoline, rolling around, getting dizzy far more often than I want, but it's important to them. It's what they love, is jumping on the trampoline or playing a game. I know more about Pokemon and Fortnite and all these things than I normally would, because I want to engage with them, right? And so also this week, being very proactive with how do I show care to my kids? Not like, how do I care for them, like change the diapers and, help them brush their teeth. That's all important. But really this like interest in who they are, where they feel that they're important. When we're intentional with this, and the research on it says kids don't need like a crazy ton. They might want all they can get. But when they get regular doses, right, they grow up with a healthier self-esteem, a better ability to trust others. And a lot of us recognize like part of what we were missing as kids was that feeling totally engaged with. Right? A lot of people feel that their parents loved them but weren't in tune with them, right? And so I know some of you since this past Rise Week have been very intentional with interacting with kids, hiking, date nights, different things. What do you guys think if you're just, same thing, couple minutes to get intentional with your interactions with your kids? How does that change things?
I have a couple thoughts. First of all, back to what you said about captivating. I have a friend who I've known for over 30 years. And the other day we're talking about he's having issues with his wife, feeling disconnected. And I knew him before he was married. And I said, I remember you guys were first dating. And he told the story again about how he met and fell in love, the whole thing. And he totally changed. Like just remembering how you met your wife and how that went down is so helpful. because those feelings are there. We just need to bring up and show them. So there's that. And then about the kids, that's one thing I try and do all the time, and it's difficult because we're busy and work and come home, and in my mind I'm like, okay, I got to go hang out with child number 2 or whatever for a minute. And then when I'm actually doing it, as we know, it's awesome. It's that first step of trying to get there, to hang out with them and get to know them, and they start opening up and telling you their dumb stories, they don't care about to hear, but they like telling them. And lastly, where is he? Nathan, did he go away? Oh, there you are, Nathan. Sorry, I got my screen. I just want to introduce Nathan here real quick. I've had the opportunity to hang out with all of you guys in Rise, and then I was with the Rise group with Nathan. This dude is like one of us for sure. Heart on his sleeve, good guy. He's one of our brothers. So I just want to introduce Nathan. He's amazing dude. Love this guy. Okay.
I had a thought too.
Go ahead.
In fact, I don't want to forget. Most of you guys don't know Chris. Chris was in my Rise group, and he's a rock star. So I was glad to see that he jumped on. But my kids are older, and this week I have a daughter who's living with her boyfriend, which my wife and I aren't thrilled about. But I took an opportunity to call her this week and just apologize for my shortcomings as a father. Tell her that I love her. Told her that I didn't agree with all her choices, but it didn't affect the way that I felt about her. And it was a real breakthrough in our relationship. I mean, she just cried and cried and cried, and at the end, just said, "Dad, I love you so much, and I'm so happy. It's okay that you weren't perfect. It's okay that you made mistakes, but I'm just really glad." And in fact, when she got together with this guy and moved in with him, she ghosted us for an entire year. I mean, we had zero contact for an entire year with her. I mean, no phone calls, no text messages, no nothing. I mean, we even asked her friends to contact her, and they wouldn't do it because she said told them she didn't want to talk to us. So being able to say, "I love you," and to have her say, "I love you back," and that she was sorry about everything that she had done was just a huge thing. So it was just a matter of actually saying the things that I felt rather than just letting it go for one more day.
That's awesome. I think you guys know my story of not talking with my dad for 5 years until this past Christmas. And I'm 37 years old. We went 5 years without talking, and still to re-engage and just have him like send me a quick text of, "Hey, how are you today? Let's chat." Like, that means something still, right? We all still want that approval, that acceptance at any age. And so just, again, this goes back to an intentional life where we're being purposeful with the things that we say matter most. Every single Rise week, I've asked guys who would die for their family, and everybody raises their hand, right? And I say that's easy. The challenge is, how do we live for our family? How do we spend our life, our time, intentionally giving something to improve their life? And right, we've been conditioned that our role is provider, which it is, but providing more than just financially, providing interaction, love, guidance, teaching. Like, there's so much we can provide for our families. And then Tony, back to what you said, it's so interesting because so often people feel hopeless when they're trying to like reconnect. It's like, "Oh, we're so far apart," or "I don't know how to do this." And it's like, you already did it. You already got her to fall in love with you once. You already got her to want to marry you. You already got her to be intimate with you. Like, you've already done all these things. And you may be really far apart. You may have caused pain. But if you start doing the things that used to work, they work again, right? And so, again, just getting back to this intentionality with our relationships. So I want to talk a little bit of some changes in Legion that tie into the stuff we're talking about. I'd like to see you guys posting stuff of what you're doing or how it's going. And so within Legion, I'm going to combine the guys that are in Rise 1, 2, and 3. They're all in a group together with the most recent guys that did Rise Week 4. It'll be called Legion. And within there, the previous Legion we primarily were using the workplace chat function. I'm going to switch it where we're primarily using the posts. And so every week I'll be posting a topic where we can start to discuss that topic. You can go in and share things like, here's how I'm engaging, here's how I'm captivating, those types of things. I'm going to create several different groups that everybody's going to be a member of, so we can keep organized a little bit better. So there will be places where it's kind of like to the whole brotherhood, everybody's there, and everybody will be in everything. But these are, let me grab this paper. These are the areas that I want to start to have people engage in. So one of them is a specific place where we can share inspiration and strength. And so, right, some people will post a YouTube video or a cool, picture with a quote. That, like, I want a place where any of us can go and it's like, bam, here's all these things that can strengthen me. And then I want a place where we can seek support. So, right, there's different times where someone's having a rough day or a rough week and something hard's going on. Being able to go into that space and say, they can do a video or a text and say, here's what's going on. And as a brotherhood, going into that group and giving that support, right? So there's a place that we can get strength. There's a place that we can get support. And then what I want to invite everybody into, and I'll reach out to you individually for this, in conceptualizing the Rise, like I really don't want to be the only voice, right? Part of Rise Week is to help you guys find your strength, your confidence, and see what you have inside. And I've been part of communities where I really like kind of the leader or whatever, and I start to hear the same stories again and again. Or as much as you like them, you're like, man, their voice every day, right? And so I want to help you guys lead this. And so I'm going to invite each of you, I think there's about 60 of us in the Brotherhood, to take a day once every couple of months where you're intentionally sharing something that strengthens us all. Using your mind, using your heart to share, hey, I have something of value that these other guys could use. Are you guys open to that? Taking 5 minutes once every couple of months, and we'll just kind of rotate. So I'll get it on a schedule, and every day there should be a little something that just uplifts us, that just is someone in the Brotherhood that's living this Rise way of life. Okay. So that'll be there as we get that going. And then this isn't a perfect science yet, but right now I think I have between 10 and 12 kind of different topics, different things that we cover at Rise Week, and some things that I think are important that I want to kind of take once a week and just rotate it. And so as a brotherhood, being able to focus on these core concepts like responsibility, like commitment, like courage, like captivating our companion, like spirituality, like all these different things we talk about at Rise Week, really keeping them in front of us and intentionally working on them. And then I want to do a call like this every week. I don't know that it will be Saturdays. It might be Fridays. It might be evening. I'm trying to figure that a little bit. You don't have to come every week, but a place to come and ask questions, especially specific to the topic we're working on. But a place to just ask anything. And obviously my voice will be there, but your guys' voice, which you have so much experience, you guys have won a lot of battles. So I want to really utilize each other's strengths in this brotherhood. I'll also have a section, you guys may want to help me with the name of this. Right now I'm calling it Rise-ulizations, right? Like visualizations, but Rise-ulizations. A place where I can put these powerful type of visualizations that we do at Rise Week, like the lion, like bringing your mind back to when you put on a helmet and grabbed a sword. Just this idea of ongoing training the mind to handle and break through the emotions: fear, anger, sadness, hurt, shame, loneliness, depression, anxiety. I want to have like a big resource where you can go in and it's like, I'm feeling off. What's something I can do to get back into my power, reconnected to my purpose? Would that be helpful for you guys if we had a space for some of those? Cool. Okay. Awesome. those are some of the things I'm working towards. And then I also want to start living this idea of 90 days at a time. So I think over the next 3 weeks, I want to start to set all of us up for the third quarter. So July, August, September, where everybody has kind of set goals in these different areas of life, in your marriage and your relationship with your kids, in your role as a provider, and in your personal growth, your health, your spirituality. At Rise Week, we talk of this idea of who will I become in the next 90 days, right? We've done that visualization where you see you from 90 days coming down the mountain, and we get that feedback. I've researched quite a bit of different things, and people who live 90 days at a time, focusing on this idea of, I have some big goals. Who do I need to become to achieve those goals? It's all about becoming, not just doing, not just having, but who do I need to become? I think if us as a group of men are focusing on becoming and supporting each other, I think we can reach some pretty high heights. So any comments or thoughts on that?
I say let's do it.
Cool. Awesome. Chris.
Austin.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude. I hate to go back to it often, but it is a really big part of that for me for Rise. There's no way I would have signed that view without Chris and Curtis and Jared. So working together, dude, there is true synergy. Like what everything you're saying will absolutely make us stronger. There's like literally no question. If any of us are kind of at all, I don't think we are, but if any of us are like, I don't know, man, like it's a little extra obligation, it's a lot extra motivation though. It might be a little more obligation to your day and whatnot, but I'm telling you, it'll get you to vistas you couldn't get without. And I love what you do, bro. I said earlier I wouldn't drink the Kool-Aid. I might. I might.
Kool-Aid is good, man. Kool-Aid is good.
I trust it if you make it too. If you make
awesome.
it, I won't kill you.
Awesome. I think it's important for us to learn to trust each other and rely on each other. And I think the cool thing about this is, like, I literally can't be available all the time. None of you can be available all the time to each other. But if there's 60 men and more eventually committed to, I'm gonna share part of me to strengthen others. I took about 18 months off of seeing clients a little while back, and it actually was really it was hard for me to stay on my game. Me being a therapist and interacting with people and like engaging with them and hearing their struggles is a huge benefit for me. So often when I'm helping someone else, like literally my mind's like, what you're saying is what you're supposed to be doing. And it's like, I know it, but it's not active because I'm not thinking about it until someone brings up something in their life. And so, engaging in this where someone's talking about a struggle with their wife or their kids or their business, and you being able to give back will actually be a great strength for you. And so we get to create this brotherhood. Like, I want your guys' input, your feedback. It's going to evolve. There's a good chance in the coming months we're going to use a totally different app instead of Workplace. I'm still kind of researching that, but there's some functions that I like that aren't available. And so, right, for this brotherhood, like, you all came to Rise Week, and I don't want to charge any of you for like whatever comes out of this. Like, I want you guys to be kind of feeling like I'm founding this brotherhood. I have a place where I want to invite my friends, my family, because it's a source of strength. And you guys know, obviously I'm a therapist. I've worked in difficult spaces. I've recovering from addiction. I've been in all that world. And you guys know that I didn't want to build a recovery place. I wanted to build a brotherhood that is empowered. And so as a brotherhood, we're going to really focus on this theme of responsibility, not being a victim here, not placing blame. It's fine to come and say, hey, I'm stuck in victim, or I'm struggling, give me some perspective. But as we're interacting, I'm going to be very straightforward with, like, let's get out of victim. Like, yes, it's hard. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's whatever. What are we going to do? Because all of you have felt that empowerment where you saw challenges ahead of you and you said, I got this. right? And so if we can remind each other, hey man, you got this, we can show some compassion and some empathy, but not furthering each other's stories, helping us see it from a different perspective is going to be valuable. That's the type of community I want to be a part of, a place of empowerment, a community of men who know where they're going. Okay. Any thoughts or questions with that?
Awesome. I just wanted to
go ahead.
I just wanted to share a little story I had real fast with my wife. You know, as we're thinking about Rise Week, you know, we had the opportunity to climb a lot of mountains. And, you know, that's what we are going to be getting with our wives, with our families. Like, we want to bring them to the top. But not only that, we're going to have to build them a house on the top of that mountain. So we just did the first step through the week of just climbing the mountain to see where we're building our house. What's next is now we have to go back down. We have to bring up the brick, the mortar, the shovels. We're going to have to going up and down this mountain a lot. And not just to build a small cottage, but a majestic castle for our wives.
Right.
And that's really what this part is now. We're moving beyond just the vision. We're building it. And it's going to take time. It's going to take this brotherhood and the support of each other to build this house. Because we're going to have to go up and down that mountain a lot. And we can't lose that vision of it.
Right. I appreciate that, Chris. I think recognizing that you all have honestly some pretty big goals. You have some things that are important, right? In my eyes, the things that matter most are our marriages and our families. And if we can be strengthened by each other in going up the mountain, I mean, Marty, you kind of touched on this, right? Like, I intentionally push people at Rise Week almost to breaking point, and having those spaces where others go, hey man, I see you, I got you, like let me lift you for a minute. We all need that at times. And I think I share this with a lot of you. Initially, when I built Rise Week, not intentionally, but I built it in a way where I didn't feel like I could be human. I felt like I had to be like on my game all the time. And the truth is I'm not. I stumble, I fall. And so I want this to be a place where I can come for strength as well. And I can be real and you guys go, oh man, Austin, fell on your face. We know who you are, get up, let's go kind of thing, right? One of the big keys, and I'll reiterate this again and again as well, I don't want Rise Week I don't want this Rise community, this Brotherhood Legion to be your new family. I don't want it to be the place you get all your feel goods. This is a strength for you to go back and engage with your family. So I've also been part of communities where it's like men are getting all of their attachment needs, their needs for respect or admiration in a brotherhood, and they disengage from their family and engage here. And so I haven't worked this out exactly, but I'm probably going to have like blackout times where I just ask everybody, like, don't be on here. You know, it might be like 6 to 8 or 5 to 7:30 where it's like family time. And then you can jump on here or do it beforehand. Because I've actually early on, I heard from wives, not directly from me, but telling men, like, you come home, you're all excited about your brotherhood, and now you're like still gone because you're on workplace all the time. That's not what this is about. So there may be weeks, honestly, guys, where you don't engage, months, maybe. That's okay. This is a resource that is meant to help you as you need it. And so, you know, my hope isn't you're gone for weeks and months, because I think there's always something uplifting here, is my hope. But you be the gauge of that. You don't have an obligation to be here, other than if I ask you to post something and you say yes, right? But really seeing this is a place where I can come and get some strength to take back into my regular life. Does that make sense? Is that cool with everybody? And so I'll help with, the ongoing kind of vision of this. And I'll do some videos as some of this unfolds to make it more clear. The past guys who have come to different Rise Weeks, I haven't had to do much to help them feel like a brotherhood. I mean, when men are alive and they know who they are, it just kind of comes naturally. And so at this most recent Rise Week, like you said, Tony, you've been engaging through chat, not even like video and stuff, with guys who have come before, and you already felt connected to them, right? You and Kelly and some Jade, these guys that hadn't met in person, already felt like brothers because you know what you're about. Okay. So, yeah, over the coming weeks, I just invite you to share your thoughts of what makes this more effective. I'm going to have my ideas and they're going to be limited. And so you guys really kind of taking this into what do I want in a brotherhood, in a community of men, and help me build this. I don't know the exact timing on this yet, but part of what I want to do in the next couple months is create a way for our friends and family to come into Rise without Rise Week and have a very positive experience that helps them grow. And, some of them will come to Rise Week, but I want to do kind of a one-time, let's bring people into this community, even if they haven't come into Rise Week. And we want it to be a place where those we care about can feel strengthened and empowered as well. And then probably the only entrance into this brotherhood for a while, maybe a year, maybe forever, will be through Rise Week. I don't want to grow faster than we're able to give people help. I don't want people to get lost. If I'm really honest, I wasn't able to do what I would have liked to done with Legion over the past year. I didn't have it figured out. I didn't know how to do it, all of it. And I still don't completely. But I want in time us to have this thing that's really, really great for all of us. A place where we can invite others. So I'm kind of working on how do we take some of those concepts from Rise Week and bring them into maybe a 4, maybe an 8-week kind of training where people kind of get this way of life, and those that we think can benefit can come in without Rise Week. So be thinking about that. Be thinking about people. Go ahead, Marty.
Sorry, I wanted to encourage this because it helps me a whole lot. Like, I saw, I see Dave Frampton's posts of hiking and Yella's dancing and Matt Oxford's pedicuring with his wife, like just cool things. And those kind of celebrations where you're bringing your family in on the posts and stuff, which I actually got to get better at myself, really inspire me. And it does show like exactly what I think you're trying to create here, Austin, which is so beautiful. Like, we do need to be sharper. Our acts need to be sharper for our family immediate. And I guess I just wanted to say, 1, thank you for those posts, and 2, keep posting like that, because it's a great example to me, and how we are engaging or re-engaging in our family events and stuff. So, but I just wanted to say that. Yeah.
Cool. So real quick, I had to make someone pictures bigger because I kept seeing them. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Who's wearing the army shirt?
It's Dave.
I know that now. You're totally different, my friend. How long's it been?
I think since the last time I was up here before the COVID, so middle of March, before I had a clean face.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. A lot of those guys know your story with the beard, and I was like,
that sexy voice is still there, though.
That's right. That's awesome. Cool. Well, obviously, we got some cool stuff ahead of us. You guys have cool stuff ahead of you, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to interact with you guys. There are some questions here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to record a video and make it available with kind of like timestamp of the question and the answer, so people can go in and kind of not have to watch a whole long video to get one question answered. Okay. So if you ask questions at this most recent Rise Week or underneath the post, those will be answered in a separate video, and I'll try to do a timestamp so you can go back. Any other things before we end today? Anybody have something they want to share? Something, some strength, some things they need support on?
Okay. I just want to say thank you for you guys being on. Honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to get on this morning, and I looked, it was 7:15. But really, like, it's helped reaffirm why I'm doing what I'm doing, and hearing you guys and seeing you guys, it's a rush of strong emotions that I need to help carry me through the rest of this week. So thanks for being on, guys.
I just want to also acknowledge Nate and Chris and Kelly and Tony, guys who have been at this for a while with me, and really like stuck in there when I was face down in the dirt and kept strengthening others. Jade, I don't see your face, Jade, but I see your name there. You guys have been the rise. You guys have reached to me and said, "Hey, man, where are you? Let's go." And so I appreciate you guys continuing to be you and fight for your families. So you guys are awesome. You guys inspire me, honestly. So, so soon, I'm hopefully this morning, it might be this afternoon or tonight. There'll be a new group. It'll just be called Legion. I'll actually be deleting a lot of the old ones just so it's not confusing for everybody. One place where we engage, and then there will be some other groups that you'll see in there, like an introduction. Okay, this is a place where I can share some strength. This is a place I can go if I'm struggling, I need some support. This is a place where I can get some powerful visualization, some shifting, some things that help me shift into new perspective, new power. Okay. And then, yeah, share your thoughts with me. You can direct message me through this. You can obviously call me, text me, whatever, but just let me know. And all the things you guys share, I may not decide to do, I may, but like bring your strength and let's create something amazing here as you're creating amazing in your lives. So I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in your post. Does that work?
Thanks, Austin.
Awesome, guys. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Much love, guys.
Yeah, man.
Love you guys.
Thanks, guys.